I am making a Qliphort deck profile mainly because I have everything for it and figured why not make a video out of it, but I've been messing around with Qliphort, and other than a few things that I would change, seems like it's still a pretty fun deck, though I don't think it's even would be anywhere near close to being Rogue, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Qliphort Scout. Qliphort Scout has the effect that you cannot all the Qliphort Pendulum monsters include the effect that you can't special summon monsters except Qliphort. And then this effect can't be negated, and then Scout specifically has the effect that you can pay 100 life points to add a Qli monster from your deck to your hand, other than Qliphort Scout. And then Qliphort Monolith. I play 3 Monolith. Monolith has the same summoning restriction as Scout, where you can only summon Qli monsters and they can't be negated, or that effect can't be negated. And then it also has the effect that during the end phase, you contribute summon this card, or end phase, or what? If you tribute summon this card. Okay, I don't understand its end phase effect, but it says during the end phase, if you tribute summon this card, you can draw a monster, or bleh. Or I can't read apparently. Monolith just says during the end phase, if you tribute summoned a monster. Okay, I'm very bad at wording this. End phase, if you tribute summon a monster, you can draw a number of cards equal to the number of clean monsters you control. I don't know why it took me so long to process that's what it was. So, I had an on-screen stroke moment, or something like that. But anyway, these 2 are important to the deck just because they are normal monsters. So, there's a card in the deck that can search them. They're also level 5s, which are the reason that the extra deck, I will point out, there are 6 cards that should be different. Anyway, all of the Qliphort monsters that are left have 2 effects, or they all share the effect of you can't summon monsters like Qli monsters, and then all the low scales give all your Qli monsters 300 attack, and all the high scales weaken your opponent's monsters by 300. So that, from this point forward, I won't be going over the pendulum scales effects. Anyway, I play 3 copies of Qliphort Carrier. All these Qliphort monsters share the effect that if they are normal or special summoned, or you can normal summon them without tributing, but if they're summoned that way or without tributing, then they become level 4 with 1800 attack and and then they each have unique effects depending on if they're summoned by tributing. So Carrier has the effect that I guess they all have effects that activate when they are tributed. Carrier's effect is basically a compulsory evacuation device when it's tributed. Then I play 3 copies of Qliphort Helix. Helix is a mystical space typhoon when it's tributed. Then I also play 3 copies of Qliphort Cephalopod. Cephalopod has the effect that when tributed, if your opponent has more monsters in their grave than you do, then you are getting 300 life points for every monster in that difference. So like if you have 0 monsters but your opponent has 7, in this case you'll gain 2100 life points, and then your opponent will take 2100 points of damage. Because you gain 300 and then your opponent takes 300 damage for the difference. So for that difference, you gain 300, your opponent loses 300 per. And then Qliphort Disc has the effect that when it's tributing, summon 2 Qliphort monsters. Where was it from? You can summon 2 Qliphort monsters from your deck, but destroy them during the end phase. Disc's effect actually matters for the E2 boss monsters of the deck. And then I also play 3 copies of Qliphort Shell. Shell has the effect that when it's used for a tribute summon, the monster that was summoned by tributing this card can gets a second attack during each battle or during the battle phase, and then it's allowed to inflict piercing damage. I think that's all it is. Yeah, basically tribute summon monster gets 2 attacks with piercing. And then Stealth has the effect that when it's tributed, you target 1 card in the field, turn it to the hand, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response. Which I play 3 Stealth. Then I play... And that's it for the monsters that you would tribute. For the monsters that you tribute summon, I play 2 copies of Qliphort Skybase. Skybase has the effect it cannot be special summoned, requires 3 Qli tributes to normal summon it. If this card is normal summoned, then it's unaffected by spell and trap card effects and by activated effects from any monster's original level or rank is lower than its own. And if I remember correctly, its level is, I believe, 10. No, it's level 9, so it's only affected by monsters that are level or rank 10 or higher. Anything else does not affect it. And then once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and take control of it. I love it just because it's a 2900 attack walking change of heart. And then the monster that I personally remember causing all kinds of chaos is the main boss monster deck is 3 copies of Qliphort Towers. Towers has the same summoning effect as Skybase does, except where it's unaffected by spells, traps, and monster effects that have equal or lower level. So Qliphort Towers is just unaffected by monsters that's levels are, I believe, 4, 6. Yeah. It's only affected by monsters that its levels or rank are 11 or higher, which honestly isn't that easy to get on the field. Of course, kaijus exist, and there's kaijus and lava golems and sphere modes. Also the fact that now 3000 isn't hard to get over. But anyway, it also has the effect that all special summon monsters lose 500 attack and defense. And of course, because it's unaffected by level 10 monsters, it's unaffected by its own effect. And once per turn, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from their hand or their side of the field to the graveyard. It's their choice. But the main reason it was a problem is because it could get over monsters that have the effect of unaffected by other cards' effects. Because it's affecting the player, not the monster. So if it's the only monster they have to get rid of their unaffected by other cards' effects monster. But I just remember Qliphort Towers causing all kinds of chaos just because it just could not be dealt with. And it was on the ban list for the longest time. And now it's not even a problem because no one plays Qliphort, so Towers does absolutely nothing and there are better Towers monsters. But that's it for the monsters. For the spells, I play 3 copies of Summoner's Art. Summoner's Art has the effect that you can add a level 5 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand, so this lets you add Scout or Monolith. So it lets you add the 2 better scales for the deck. I also play 3 copies of Sacrifice. Sacrifice can equip only to a Qli monster, but makes so that monster gains 300 attack and cannot be destroyed by battle. And then the equipped monster can treat it as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Qli monster. But the main thing I like about this card is that when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Qli monster from your deck to your hand. So you tribute this, or you equip it to a monster, tribute the equipped monster, summon Skybase or Qliphort Towers, and then you get a search. Or you can distribute them for one of the other Qliphort monsters and so get a little search. Then I play 3 copies of Talent just because you're going to get hand trapped a lot because hand traps are everywhere. Or you're going to face a control deck, so I figure why not add something where you can draw 2, let your opponent's hand, get rid of 1, or take control of the opponent's monster until the end of the turn. And then finally for the traps, I play 2 copies of Re-Qliate. Re-Qliate I find is a really powerful control card as it makes so that if a monster is normal or flip summoned, and it's level 4 or lower, that monster has its effects negated. And if a monster is special summoned that is level 5 or higher, it has its effects negated. Which, that's really good for your Qliphort monsters because that means when they are summoned, since they weren't tribute summoned, their attack points don't change and they don't become level 4. However, the only downside of this effect is that if there isn't a clean card on the field, except for Re-Qliate, this card gets sent to the graveyard. Which the other thing I forgot to mention is when a monster's effect is negated by this card's effect, it is banished when it leaves the field. Which I find hilarious because I actually won a game against Invoked with its deck just because Re-Qliate just destroys Alistair. Normal summon Alistair with Invoker's effect. Okay, Re-Qliate says no. So anyway. And I just thought it was funny, but that's it for the main deck. With the extra deck, there are 6 cards that should be different, as I should be playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity. But I don't have any, so I just kind of threw in a bunch of Link monsters. So, starting off with the monsters I would take out for those. I would take out... I'm just going to go over the extra deck and say which ones I take out. I forgot everything in order. I play 1 copy of IP Masquerena just to make Link summoning a lot better, and well, if it's used as Link summoning, the monster can't be destroyed. Beyond the Pendulum, just because you can pay 12, add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. However, if you don't Pendulum summon after this effect is used, then all your card effects are negated until the end of the turn. And then if monsters at 2 different levels are summoned to zones it points to at the same time, you can then destroy 1 card on the field. Then I play 1 copy of Pentastag. Pentastag is a card I would take out, but Pentastag just makes it so a monster on the field it points to that you control can inflict piercing. Then I play 3 copies of Qliphort Genius. Genius is really the only Link monster in the extra deck I actually summon, as it's the only one that's not restricted by the clean monster pendulum effects of you can't special summon monsters except clean monsters. But Qliphort Genius has the effect that it's unaffected by spells and traps and the activated effects of other Link monsters. Once per turn, you can target a face-up card on each player's field except for this card, destroy both. Not destroy both. Both have their effects negated until the end of the turn. And 2 monsters are summoned to its zone at the same time. Then you can add a level 5 or higher machine monster from deck to your hand. So this just lets you search any of your clean monsters, as they are all level 5 or higher. That's one thing I like about this deck is that normal summoning isn't... as long as you have Re-Qliate, normal summoning is fantastic, but if you don't, you want to save your normal summons for towers and Skybase. Then I also play 1 copy of Phoenix, which would come out. This allows you to target a spell, trap, destroy it. Unicorn, which would also come out for... So there's your 3 Novas. Just take out Pentastag, Unicorn, Phoenix. Technically, the extra can be whatever you want. The only thing I would recommend is the 3 Genius. And I honestly just slapped this deck together, so most of the rank 4s are also... rank 4s. Most of the Link 4s are going to be coming out anyway. But this just lets you discard card, target card of the field, return it to the deck. Appaloosa just gains 800 attack for each material, and then it can decrease its attack by 800 to then be able to negate an opponent's monster effect. 1 copy of Star Usual, which I would take out. This just lets you draw... If you use 4... It has different effects depending on how many names you use. where if you use 2 or more, any monster summoned into a zone at points 2 gain, what was it, 300 attack and defense? Yeah. And then if you use 3 or more, then once per turn you special summon a monster from your hand to a zone at points 2. Or you not summon from your hand to zone points 2. You can special summon a monster from your hand. And then if you use 4, then you can draw 4 cards and then put 3 cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. The main reason I take out most of the Link 4s in this deck is because usually you want your monsters on field so that you can tribute them for your boss monster, not so you can link them off for other monsters. Also because you're probably not going to be summoning from your extra deck a whole lot unless it's clean monsters. 1 copy is Borlo Dragon, which again would come out, but for now isn't in here because it can weaken by 500, steal a monster, and send it to the grave during the end of the next turn. Then I also play 1 Abomination, which would also come out, so there's your other ones. Abomination, though, I honestly really like, though, just because if a monster is destroyed at battle, you can destroy 1 card on the field. If a card on the field is destroyed by card effect, except by the effect of Unchained Abomination, you can destroy another card, and during the end phase, you can destroy a card. I just love the amount of destruction that Unchained Abomination can do. And they also play 1 copy of Agromax just because it's a hard boss monster to get over when IP Masquerena is used for one of its materials, which requires 2+ monsters, some from the extra deck. And then, I honestly forget. It can't be targeted with card effects, and then it also gains the attack of any special summon monster in battles, which, if you use IP Masquerena, that's already insanely hard to get over. But of course, again, like I said, kaijus exist. And also things like Super Poly. And then I also play 1 copy of Bomber Dragon just because I figure why not. It's really easy to figure out how to use it. But like I said, though, most of the extract really doesn't matter because it's just genius and then other things just fill up space. And then because all the monsters, or all the Qliphort monsters make themselves level 4 if they're some normal summon without tribute, I figured I'd go ahead and play 1 copy, number 60, to Guard's Timeless, so I can draw 2, discard 1, and skip my next draw phase. Summon from either graveyard, but skip my next main phase. Or double the attack of one of my monsters, but skip my next battle phase. That is it for the Qliphort extra deck. The extra deck, as far as I can tell, aside from 3 Genius, can be whatever you want. And like I said, I want to play 3 copies of Nova and Infinity in this deck. I just don't have them. So the cards I would honestly take out for them are Saryuja, honestly, Dugaris, Bomber Dragon, Pentastag. Because now I've said it out loud, I realize I was saying the wrong things. Anyway, honestly, these will be the 6 that I would take out for Cyber Dragon Nova, 3 Novas and 3 Infinity, as you use Monolith and Scout to summon the Cyber Dragon Nova, and then you use Nova to summon Infinity, and then Infinity is just a generic negate by detaching 1. And you can target an attack that just spawns from the field and attach as material. However, you can only summon Infinity once per turn by using a Cyber Dragon Nova you control. But like I said, though, that's it for my Qliphort deck profile. If you need what I can do to improve the deck, they would be greatly appreciated, as I'm still trying to figure out how the deck is supposed to be working. As I really enjoy playing Qliphort, I just need to actually know what I'm doing. But if you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, decks like C be made in the future, or decks like C face each other, such as Qliphort versus Infernoid, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.